coming up, it's coming up, it's coming up, it's there.
Hello ladies and gentlemen, my name is Mr. Clockwork Apple. Today I'm taking a look at Dragon Quest IX, Sentinels of the Starry Skies. So I like alliteration. If you don't know the Dragon Quest series, it's basically one of the, top main RPG series, along with Final Fantasy, Shin Megami Tensei, and Pokemon. Actually made by Square Enix, so it's not so much a rival to Final Fantasy as much as it is a, companion is the word I'd use. Very bright and colourful series. As of the later translations, especially this game, very heavy on puns and jokes and all. As I said, very, very light-hearted. So this was actually the first Dragon Quest game I ever played. I've later gone back and played the 7th and 8th games, which are also very good. Might review them in the future, but I wanted to start with this one, as I said, because this was the first one I played. Our plot is that we are a Celestian, which are these guardian angels who are tasked to look over the mortals and make sure they're all okay, help them out if they're in trouble, defeat monsters, that kind of thing. And our ultimate goal is to gather these crystals called benevolescence. Yes, that is a pun. It is terrible. It's not the worst. It's one of the worst, but not the worst. And we have to give the benevolescence to the tree Yggdrasil. And when it's got enough, it'll grow fruits, and we'll be able to go back to the realm of the Almighty and stop having to help the lazy mortals. Yes, you out there, that's you. You're the lazy mortals. However, just as the tree fruits, there's this bizarre attack on the observatory where all the Celestians live, which knocks you and the fruits off the observatory down to the realm of the mortals. You've lost your halo, you've lost your wings, and now you're visible to the ordinary people as well. You have to restore your powers, find the fruits, and figure out where the hell this attack came from and what's going on. As I said, the game starts off very light-hearted and colourful. It gets quite dark at the end, but that's about average for a Dragon Quest game. Really childish and friendly at the beginning, really grim and surprisingly difficult as well, actually, at the end. The two hardest points of these games, and this one included, are the very beginning and the very end. The very beginning, you're not going to have any magic or decent attacks. You're basically going to be relying on your medicinal herbs, and that's about it. So, yeah, the beginning of the game is quite difficult. And the end of the game, which is where they really ramp up the difficulty for the final boss and so on. Of course, you don't have to go through the journey alone. You can also create your own teammates using the same character creator as the main character. You can also give them different jobs as well. You start off. Your main character is the job as a minstrel, which is sort of an all-round bit of magic, bit of fighting, bit of healing. But you can create a priest who is mainly healing, soldiers and martial artists are good at fighting, mage is good at magic, and you also get the thief who is fast and can steal items for you, because in this game you need items. This game has alchemy in it. By gathering items from the world, stealing them from your enemies, or various other methods such as buying them, you can create new and powerful equipment which you will need to defeat the later bosses in the game. Every new town you visit has its own little story. There's no... Aside from your own story of trying to, which I mentioned earlier, find out where the figs have gone and who attacked you, there's no real overarching plot. Each little town has its own story arc. You turn up, there's a problem, find out what the problem is, find out how to solve it, solve the problem, and generally you get a fig at the end. You see, what's been happening is the figs have fallen down to earth, and the people have been eating them, and it turns out the figs are granting wishes. What you ask for and what you get aren't necessarily the same. There's a fisherman who wants his daughter not to go hungry, so the fig turns him into the Leviathan, which will bring fish to the town and throw them onto the beach. Unfortunately, everyone else in the town has started coming and feeding off of these fish and making more and more demands of him, which is why he attacks in the end. And obviously you beat him, he turns back to he's actually dead, so he turns into a ghost, and you get the fig. Minor spoiler alerts there, I'm sorry, but the game's been around for a while, and it's not part of the overarching plot, so I don't mind too much about spoiling that. Sorry if that ruined the game for you. Aside from that, the game actually has multiplayer. If you have some friends who also have the game, you can connect and go through the adventure together. 1 to 4 friends, which is the reason you can make your own teammates, is basically if you don't have anyone else to play the game with, you can go through the game easy enough with them, or, as I said, it's probably better if you find some friends to play with, but if you don't have any who want this game or own this game, don't worry too much about it. There was also actually one problem I had with the game, is there was some extra content that you could download through the Nintendo Wi-Fi. Unfortunately, now that the Wi-Fi is shut down for DS games, at least, this is original DS, not 3DS. Now that the Wi-Fi is shut down, that content is pretty much lost unless you're willing to use an Action Replay or Game Shark or so on. It was mainly extra stuff and not too necessary, but it still kind of annoys me there's parts of these games I can't actually access, which is a real shame. But overall, it's actually not too bad, because this game has tons of content. I mean, I've owned this for years and I haven't seen everything it has to offer yet, so you will be, even if you're by yourself, without the extra content, you will be playing this game for ages. It is a very, very actually good RPG overall. Probably one of the better ones on the DS, definitely. The mechanics are very simple, which is quite good. Not too much unique things to get a hold of. Mostly the difficulty of the game will come from doing all the extra side quests and gathering for alchemy. That's the only real parts that might trick you up, but the main storyline you can get through relatively easily, not too bad. Again, aside from the very beginning and very end, where the game will crush you to death because it hates you. Yeah, that guy on the front, angry, he hates you. Yeah, these characters on the front, they're all just the characters you can create in the game. None of them exist as actual characters. They just look like that if you want them to look like that. I think my character at the minute has a green mohawk, so no green mohawks there, no green mohawks there. So yeah, overall, very good game. Lots and lots of stuff to do. And yes, also, all the equipment you can get in the game changes what your character looks like. So every single hat, body piece, see it's hats, body, gloves, legs, and feet. And there's an accessory, but that doesn't change how you look. And you can completely change what your character looks like from head to toe. Sometimes, if you go for purely stats, your character will look ridiculous. Or if you try and make a particular outfit, but then you won't have as good stats. It's kind of a balance here. Generally speaking, your own leveling up stats will be good enough. So if you find a way your character looks that you want to keep them like that, so you can keep them and not suffer too much. Or you can use alchemy to upgrade the stats of a particular piece of armor or weapon to keep your character looking the way they do. Oh, yes. Each weapon has its own skill set that you can learn. As you level up, you earn points, and you can put the points into the skill set, and you'll get better at the weapon. So more damage of a sword, more defense of a shield, special attacks using each one. Oh, yes, there's also extra jobs you can unlock as well as the original 6 I told you about. You can unlock things like gladiator, armamentalist, sage, and so on and so forth. Bit extra work to unlock these, can be kind of difficult here and there, but they're generally worth it because they're more powerful, more varied, and can equip some of the special weapons like hammers and bows and boomerangs, which you can't equip using any of the 6 basic jobs. Make up your team how you want, dress them up how you want, play through the game. Very long game, as I said. If you're looking for a good RPG on the DS, I can seriously recommend picking this up. Overall, I'd give it about 8.5 out of 10. Graphics are quite good, gameplay's lots of fun, lasts you a very long time. And if you have some friends to play with, even better. I'd take it up to a 9 if you have some people to play with, but if not, don't worry about it too much. So with that out the way, I've been Mr. Clockwork Apple, and I hope you can join me next week for my next review, where I'm going to be reviewing the book John Dies at the End. This is a bizarre one, folks, so I hope you can join me for it. So, I will see you then. Goodbye.